Hello. Um, I saw Dunkirk today, and I thought it was amazing. Um, you know, um, there have been a lot of people on YouTube that have talked about this movie. All I'm going to say is it was really great. Christopher Nolan is one of the best filmmakers around. He has been for quite some time. I myself have always enjoyed his work. The first movie I ever saw of his was Batman Begins. I'm a Batman fan, but and from there I just really watched um, all of his movies, and he is a great director. He's a great visionary. He has a very good eye, and for Dunkirk, I thought it was very interesting because I wouldn't have thought this would be the kind of movie he would make. After Interstellar, there were people speculating on what kind of movie he would make. Some thought it would be a western, but when I heard it was a war movie and it was Dunkirk, I was very interested. A lot of Americans don't know the story of Dunkirk. We're not really taught it. I had world history in high school, and talking about World War II, we briefly, we talked about significant events that happened during that war, and that was one, but it was very brief. And I remember hearing about it and then going home and researching it, and it's just an amazing tale. And then seeing the movie, that was something that was just like no other experience. I mean, Christopher Nolan delivers a theater experience. He's just amazing at having just having an atmosphere in his films that I think is really remarkable. He made this film as a suspense film. It's not a war movie in the traditional sense. He wanted to go at a different angle, and I believe that works. I think he had a very good he had a very good vision for what he was doing, and telling the story from the land, the sea, and air it was really good. You see the different perspectives of all the people involved, and I'm not really going to be giving anything away. However, I'm sure if you know the story or you've researched it before, you probably know it. But this is an amazing movie experience, and I enjoyed it. I would recommend it if you like movies. In general, I would say go and see it. It's an intense movie, so if you hadn't heard about it already, well, I'm telling you here, Dunkirk is an intense movie. It's very good too. But again, everything I've said right now essentially is that it is a good movie. It's a great movie, I believe. It's the best movie I've seen this year. That's just me. Maybe you have a different movie you think is the best, and that's all well and good. But yeah, if you enjoy suspense films, if you enjoy war movies, if you enjoy movies, obviously in general, as I said earlier. And if you're a fan of Christopher Nolan, you will like this. I believe you'll like it at least. All the performances, Tom Hardy, Kenneth Branagh, Cillian Murphy, Mark Rylance, they're all great. Newcomers, like Finn Whitehead, for example, the lead, he is amazing. And I believe, in Harry Styles, who never acted before, not to my knowledge, at least not in the movie. He was great as well. I know some people are very apprehensive of him being in the movie. I kind of equate that to like Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight. Yeah. People thought because he was in Brokeback Mountain and some of the previous roles, he wouldn't be good as the Joker. And people saw the movie, and he was a great Joker. He was a good Joker, and depending on your stance on that, he could be the best Joker or the second best. And Harry Styles is very good in this movie. Practical effects were very, very well done. The action sequences and the story, it was just so engaging. I had popcorn and I ate some before the movie began, but once the movie started, I was so engaged with the movie, I did not continue to eat my popcorn until after the movie. That was how good it was to me. I mean, again, this is all my opinion. I just wanted to give a little talk about this movie. I think it's really good. I think it's a film that I would like to see up for awards, and awards don't mean a whole lot anymore, or at least not in this day and age. I mean, yeah, sometimes a great movie and a great performance will get nominated, but sometimes other great movies and great performances don't. I would like to see this film be nominated for Best Picture, and I would like to see Christopher Nolan for the first time ever be nominated for Best Director at the Academy Awards. I would like him to win, but if he gets nominated, great. Because if he doesn't get nominated for this movie, I don't know what movie he can make that will get him a nomination. That doesn't at least seem like, oh well, we've ignored him for so long, it's time to just nominate him and maybe even win. And his movies, I feel, are all great. I'm just a fan of movies, and Nolan's a fan of movies, and when somebody has a passion like he does, I tend to kind of gravitate towards those people a lot more as a moviegoer, and because of that, I constantly go and watch Christopher Nolan movies. In this film, he really outdoes himself. I don't know where I would rank this on my Nolan films. Be very high. I rank the Dark Knight trilogy very high because I just enjoyed what he did with Batman and how different it was. I love Memento. I love Inception. I loved all of his movies, but I think this could possibly outdo, Inception and Interstellar. Maybe even Memento. Maybe if you've seen the film already, or you do see it and you watch this later again, if you hadn't already, you might think differently than I do, and that's okay. But then again, this is my first impressions as well. However, I would love to see this again in the theater. I think the theater experience is what you really need to see. I'd go and see it at the IMAX, but the IMAX in my town is pretty much a joke. That would be the equivalent of if you had a home movie theater and you wanted to make it like an IMAX type home movie theater. The IMAX we have would be like that. It's just small, and I remember watching a film, a nature film, like sea life in Florida when I was 4 years old, and the screen was huge. Again, this IMAX we have in the town I live in it's just so small that it's like, again, equating it to a home movie theater. If you just decided to have a home movie theater in a IMAX form, you know, if that was the case, it'd be great. But for an actual IMAX to be taken seriously, it's just it's laughable. So I would love to see it in the IMAX, but I might have to go back to see it at a regular theater again. If I do see it, I would love to. Again, I recommend it if you just love movies, if you like war movies, you like suspense movies, because Christopher Nolan has said this is a suspense film first and foremost, not the traditional war movie. And if you like Christopher Nolan's works, if you like following like Memento, like Insomnia, Batman Begins, Prestige, Dark Knight, Inception, Dark Knight Rises, and Interstellar, basically all of his movies, I believe you will enjoy this. I don't think you have to be a fan of history myself. History does intrigue me, so that could have helped my liking of this movie, but I don't believe it's just strictly for anybody who is interested in history or likes history or loves history or whatever, or even military history. But I think that you can just enjoy it and in a way learn something at the same time. Maybe learn a new story had you not heard it. Like us Americans don't really know about it unless you did what I do, or you research it. If you heard it, heard about it, and then you were interested, and you heard 400,000 men were stranded, and 300 of them or so got back home. Like really, they only like lost about 100,000 some men. It's unfortunate they did lose them, but it was wartime, so that is an unfortunate side effect of war. But I think it's a great movie, great film, great performances. Aside from Best Picture, Director, and Screenplay, I would also like to see this film get nominated for supporting actors for Mark Rylance and Tom Hardy, or at least those two be very strongly considered for it. Finn Whitehead could get nominated for Best Actor, though, who knows. But I do, because competition later on, Daniel Day-Lewis has his last film this year, and Gary Oldman is Winston Churchill. And so, and who knows what other kind of performances and movies will come out later in the year. But Finn Whitehead did a good job, and Rylance and Hardy should be very strong contenders for supporting actor at the Oscars and other awards as well. But yeah, and Hans Zimmer's music was great. Cinematography, editing, all that was great. I think this movie is fantastic. It's phenomenal. Again, it's the best film I've seen this year. So, if you weren't sure if you're ever going to see it and you saw some videos that liked it, but see for yourself. And even if you've heard some people say they don't like it, maybe see it, though I'm sure if you're on the fence, I could see why you might not want to see it. But if you are curious, I would recommend seeing this movie. I tried my best not to overhype this movie or hype it up, but I believe it was an amazing movie. It was an exceptional movie. And if you do see it, I hope you enjoy it. Though if you don't, well, you know, some movies, you know, some people just don't enjoy certain movies. Some people, uh, maybe it's the kind of movie they don't normally enjoy or watch. Um, it's not the kind of movie they are particularly interested in seeing, whatever. But I hope you would see this movie. It is very good, I believe. And, yeah, Christopher Nolan, his 10th film, I believe, is, he's 10 and 10. He hasn't failed to deliver in terms of story and direction and anything you could ask for from a great movie or even a good movie. He's always delivered, in my opinion. He hasn't made a bad movie yet, and I don't know if he ever will. But that's all I've got for now. So I hope you enjoyed me talking about Dunkirk, and if you see it, I hope you enjoy it, and if not, well, at least you have an opinion now, and it's formed based on your experience of watching it. And it's not just because some people said they didn't like it or whatever, So, another thing was I heard USA Today, someone complained that, oh, there's no female leads or minority, anyone of a minority that was a lead. Well, you see, during World War II, and particularly in Europe, in 1940, in France, and where the movie takes place, as well as England, England, there weren't many minority soldiers. There are some black soldiers in the film, but they're trying to get off the beach, trying to get out of Dunkirk. There's not a lot of. There weren't any women soldiers during World War II. There are nurses, so you can see a woman in there, a few women. There are women. There are some black people. But, overall, it was mostly white men, young white men, who were in World War II. And, yeah, that's all I really have to say about that part. That was a criticism that I thought was dumb. I wasn't sure if I really wanted to say anything else, but I don't know, it was like it just kind of popped in my head as I was about to sign off. But, just thought I'd mention that, and don't let that persuade you, or sway you either, or persuade you not to see the film. If you're interested, see it. Don't let somebody who is upset that in a war that was fought primarily by white men, particularly during a time. I mean, when America came in, yeah, there was more blacks and Hispanics and others that did fight in the war, but it's mostly white men, and there weren't any women soldiers. If anything, they were nurses. So, yeah, don't let that sway you at all. But, yeah, Dunkirk was an excellent film. I enjoyed it thoroughly, and again, if you're interested in seeing it, see it. I'd even recommend it to anybody who isn't fond of war films or suspense films. It's quite an experience. Bye.